Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome back. Happy to have you here checking out Season 19 of the Nexus Gaming Series in Division B East. Thank you for the follow, King of Hots. For this Week 10 matchup, we're going to be taking a look at Heavy Greg against Hots Dads in a best-of-3 series. Heavy Greg were actually divisional champs last season for Division C. Before their promotion, this is their first time up here in B. And the Hots Dads have made it to postseason every single season they've participated. So both teams no strangers to the importance of these late season matches. They're playing for seeding implications in the postseason. Speaking of, let's take a look at the divisional standings. We've got Hots Dads in third with 25 points, Heavy Greg in fifth with 20 points, very close to each other. If Heavy Greg manage the domination, they'll still be trailing Hots Dads by a point, but there are still games left to play this season, so it's far from a foregone conclusion that Heavy Greg won't overtake that position. Let's head over to our battleground selection to see how that draft all shook out. We had Heavy Greg win the coin toss and opt for first pick. So we're headed to Hots Dad's battleground selection of Braxis Holdout. We also saw map bans on Towers of Doom and Battlefield of Eternity for Heavy Greg, with Hots Dad's banning out Tomb of the Spider Queen and Cursed Hollow. Braxis Holdout, an interesting battleground in the competitive, organized play of Nexus Gaming Series, if only because it allows for different approaches than your solo queue Storm League experience of 1v1 in top, 4v4 in bot. Let's just hope everyone wins their respective lanes. Rotational heroes are of high priority. You've got globals, you've got Genji, heroes that can cross terrain. So all of these things can play into that push and pull between top and bot lane. This is also going to be an excellent showcase for Hots Dads of who I consider their star player, Godly Noob, who frequently plays offlane for them. So there is still the potential for a fair bit of dueling here on Braxis, and so when you have a strong offlane player, someone who is familiar with taking those trades successfully, Braxis can go your way. Of course, Heavy Greg could respond to that with a completely different laning arrangement. You know, we could see a double support with 2 top, 3 bot. The world is our oyster. Or in this case, Braxis is our oyster. I'll also take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who's here with us live. It's great to see everyone come out and support our NGS teams. Be sure to cheer them on in chat. Let them know that you're excited for their major successes. It's always a lot of fun getting to go back and watch the stream VOD and see those cheers. And it looks like we've got all of our players almost set for game number 1. So we should be off to our first draft shortly. This is not the first time these two teams have faced off. Back in Season 17, they had their first meeting, and that went 2-0 in favor of Hots Dads. So I'm sure Heavy Greg would love to kind of get them back, not only because it would put them much closer in the standings, but also because, you know, there's a little bit of a vendetta, if you will. Heavy Greg have had a solid standard roster since they formed up in Season 14. Chim Chim, Synthesis, and Corrosive have been the most consistent of their core roster. So they've had, I guess this is their 5th season together now, so lots of seasons to build that synergy. Hotstad's just 1 season younger. Meme Zed, great to see you in chat. Doing well. Excited for our best of 3 in B East. And these are both very strong teams. I've had the pleasure of playing against both Heavy Greg and Hotstads. I can say firsthand that they are formidable opponents. Taking a look at some of my scouting data on these teams. Looks like Hotstads have favored a lot of global play thus far in the season. So it very well could be that they look to get double global here on Raxus. It can allow for very rapid rotations, of course, and setting up those uneven fights. It takes a little bit more coordination. It's not as straightforward as the more simple 1 top 4 bot meta, but being able to get Falstad to join your off lane or Dahaka to come down to turn that 5v4 could be a huge momentum swing. So I expect Heavy Greg to tend to that global priority that Hotstads have shown. And it looks like we are getting started here for our draft in Game 1. Alright, immediately the Dahaka gets banned out. It's been the most popular choice for the dads thus far this season for their off lane. So, an excellent first ban, and Greg wants no part of any of that global play that we were foreshadowing. Getting rid of both Dahaka and Falstad. There's the hammer ban. Heavy Greg are Sergeant Hammer enjoyers. Alright. We're getting light and fast with the Blaze Auriel response after the first pick, Chromie. Synthesis definitely favors the Chromie. It's a signature hero for them. I'd expect to keep the draft a little bit more flexible. They might want a tank and perhaps a healer here. They're going to go with a Medivh instead. Alright. Very exciting. So, likely to be a double support for Heavy Greg. Hotstads, I'd expect an off-lane ban here if it weren't a Medivh comp. The fact that it is, maybe you ban a healer a la Malfurion? Or Tyrande. Yeah, Tyrande has been a favorite of Heavy Greg. Randy Newman. Randy with an I, Newman. I'm pretty sure. Plays a very mean Tyrande. Next ban here. I'd expect a tank ban, probably Muradin, given Hotstad's favoritism of it. It's going to be Mephisto instead. All right. So next 2 picks for the dads. Snatches up the Muradin and Sylvanas. So Sylvanas brings a little bit of percent damage potentially at level 1. We'll see what the last 2 picks here. Heavy Greg likely to pick a healer and an offlaner here. Chim Chim loves Malthael, so I'd be surprised if we don't see the Malthael pick. They have a pretty favorable one-on-one matchup into Blaze. It's going to be Leoric instead. Alright. Stukov as well. So they don't need Silence and Tomb at 20 because they've got Silence and Tomb at home. Last pick here for Cue Ball. Cue Ball, definitely one of the trickier players to predict. They have played a fair bit of Kael'thas. It's going to be Jaina instead this time. Let's take a look at our draft as our teams load into game number 1 here on Braxis Holdout. We've got the double support for Heavy Greg with the Medivh. So solo damage Chromie. Heavy Greg definitely pretty cooldown dependent with that in mind. So they're not going to have a lot of pressure for the Muradin on the side of Hotstads. Top lane favors Leoric. Blaze does not trade super favorably into the Bone King. And Heavy Greg also have a easier time rotating folks up to make those uneven lane assignments. So it's definitely, it could go either way. It's definitely going to come down to execution. I'm going to favor Hotstads just a little bit for the draft in game 1, but we'll see if they can make the difference here in game 1. And let's introduce our teams. First, on the left in blue, we've got Heavy Greg, Randy Newman playing Stukov, Synthesis on Chromie, Randy Newman on Medivh, Corrosive on Johanna, and Chim Chim playing Leoric. To the right in red, we've got Hotstads, Kakarot on Sylvanas, Godly Noob on Blaze, Krogdon on Muradin, Q-Ball on Jaina, and User Error playing Oriel. So let's take a look at our level 1 talents as we get into the first wave of the game. Tywalker's Pursuit for Chromie. Synthesis going to be able to grant lots of vision. We've got a little bit of an uneven lane setup. Kakarot headed top here. I believe they've stayed out of vision. They're going to get the trade onto Chim Chim. Lots of damage onto Leoric here. And that will certainly help Godly Noob sustain in this lane and take this favorable. Kakarot could go for the takedown, instead focuses more on the towers there. But with Black Arrows committed, a lot of progress made on the port front wall. Very little made on the reciprocal side. Hotstads getting a lot of success in this 2-1 setup. Randy Newman makes the rotation and gets the protect just in time. User Error taking a fair bit of damage here. One more auto attack might do it. It's not going to make the difference, unfortunately. So Randy Newman now the target. Kakarot and Godly Noob can't be stopped. Definitely leveraging the pushing power that they've got into the relatively weaker double support. Of course, in the bot lane, they do have fairly strong wave clear as well. This 2v2, I don't know that... Yeah, they're going to die here. So Chim Chim falls first blood, going over to Hotstads, and they'll gain control of the top beacon. Checking in on bot lane, the 3v3. Randy Newman lands the weighted pustule onto Krogdon, but Q-Ball, unfettered, gets to drop the blizzard there. Krogdon jumping in, and with the respawn on top lane, Chim Chim gets control of the top beacon. So first Zerg progress will go in favor of Heavy Greg. They get a quick 24% before Corrosive has to head back to the Hall of Storms. Checking back in here. Chim Chim trying to fight for this point yet again. Randy Newman still quite low, however. Plays definitely a little bit healthier than the Leoric 9 times out of 10. He's got a stronger HP pool. Corrosive will flip the point, so only 16% Zerg goes in favor of the Dads. And we've got a fight on two fronts. Randy Newman trying to keep things cheeky here. Godly Noob falling very low, but they get the takedown onto the Medivh. Chim Chim trying to get one more auto onto Godly Noob, but it's not going to connect. So in the end, it's both takedowns going in favor of Hofstads, and that'll be the next objective channel in their favor as well. We've got level 4 talents on both sides. Progdon jumping in there, but it looks like, as mentioned, they don't have any auto attack pressure to chew through that Muradin's HP pool. So it is challenging to dissuade the Dwarf from getting off that point. Godly Noob playing for point here. They'll just jet propulsion off. And we're at a bit of a stalemate. 58% for the Dads, with Greg securing 24%. Chim Chim using the portal after connecting the Drain Hope. Unfortunately, losing a lot of their percent damage there, so they're going to have to back up, and that'll give Hotstads double channel once again. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to get through either of these beacon points before the Zerg flips. Up to 96% now, and that'll be it. So first objective goes in favor of Hotstads. They're also up a talent tier with level 7s coming in now. We've got Ice Flows for Jaina, Godly Noob popping the Neural Stim Pack after that jet propulsion there. Front wall, after it had been softened up, already gone. Chim Chim taken out by the Zerg. Did not respect the damage that the objective and Sylvanas could do. So, Fort likely to fall here in top lane. Checking in on bot. The Dads have gotten a lot done. They're going to get through at least one tower here as well. Make it a full front wall. So a pretty sizable lead for the Dads after first objective phase. They're looking very comfortable on this battleground of theirs. Kakarot and Godly Noob picking up this siege camp for top, while the rest of the Dads take care of the bruisers here in bot. So with a full level lead, the Dads are kind of just cruising towards their heroics. Heavy Greg are going to have to be the ones to make a play if they want to get an even talent tier fight before those heroics come online. And it's a 5-hero commitment by the Dads to the bot lane. Looks like Chim Chim's going to stick in top lane for Heavy Greg, so 5 heroes committed and black arrows as well. Randy Newman falling low. There's a huge jet propulsion onto 3, but they'll back out without the takedown. Randy Newman portals in. You can hear those Raven calls thanks to the level 4 Raven familiar. Amping up the damage that Medivh contributes to the team. Godly Noob and Chim Chim shaking hands, waving hello once again. And it looks like the Dads will do a lane swap here, with Godly Noob and Kakarot swapping to the bot side, while their core 3 lane sticks it out in top. Slowing Sands, Godly Noob has to drop the bunker. So a heroic committed for a far less serious cooldown. Next objective phase starting up now. Chim taking a lot of damage from Kakarot here. They'll end up taking the portal away. Leoric gets the Wraithwalk to avoid the jet propulsion. And it's 5 heroes down here for Hotstads. Chim already used their mobility tool. There's the Leyline Seal, catching one. Krogdon uses the Haymaker. They love Haymaker Murden. Cue Ball stuck in the... Oh my gosh, so much damage onto the Jaina there. That'll be the takedown. Rennie Newman in the back, very low. Chim and Corrosive trying to chase down Krogdon, interrupts the Dwarf Toss. But in the end, they're unable to lock Muradin down for long enough, and they'll regen right back up with their third wind, level 1. Godly Noob caught by the Entomb here, and Synthesis will land those Sandblasts. So Krogdon makes it up to top lane to flip the beacon over, but Heavy Greg answering back with the first 2 takedowns of their own in Game 2. Krogdon using the Haymaker once again to remove Corrosive from top point, stall the objective progress as much as they can. Heavy Greg still enjoy a bit of a power play, but Corrosive is going to be in a lot of trouble here. Krogdon throws the Stormbolt a little early, and now Kakarot and User Error left unfettered, probably going to get this bottom fort. We'll see if the Hotstads make it out alive here. Krogdon still pretty healthy. Jaina throws the Water Elemental down. Leyline catches 2, but in a 2v4, Hotstads come out on top, and Kakarot and User Error secure the bottom fort as well. So Hotstads really showing the threat that Sylvanas brings onto... Oh my god, huge 4-hero jet propulsion followed up by the Wailing Arrow from Kakarot. Another 2 takedowns, 7-2 now. Hotstads nearing their level 13 talent tier as well as they get through this objective phase. Randy Newman used Leyline Seal in top. Chim and Randy can show Heavy Greg that Hotstads are doing the boss, but they can't stop them. Looks like they're gonna position to try. Thinking better of it. We've got Randy Newman and Randy Newman working on the bottom objective. Randy Newman removed from the portal. There's the Water Elemental as well, so a permanent slow. Godly Noob makes the huge rotation in. Randy Newman committed a lot of resources. There's the longest stasis in the game, but alas, Synthesis still falls. So we've got Boss in top lane with a full Zerg wave and Siege Camp in bot lane. Chromie is a lot of Heavy Greg's objective clear. So here's a 5-hero commitment to top lane from the dads. Chromie will be back in mere moments. Randy Newman falling very low here. Chim and Corrosive in on the back line. Krogdon taking a lot of damage. They'll Haymaker away the Stukov. No Blessed Shield for another 10 seconds or so. Top keep goes down. User Error and Krogdon escape. Randy Newman unable to get those takedowns, and the Zerg wave still very healthy in bot lane. Boss is hitting core. This might be a double keep play for the dads. They may lose a fort. Nope. Oh, does the Hydra do it? The Hydra does it. So, Heavy Greg get a structure of their own. And they're rounding the corner towards their level 13 talents, so they're on an even talent tiers once again. At this point, of course, Hotstads can just hide in their base forever. If they so choose. The passive waiting game is strongly in their favor, with constant catapult pressure in both top and bot lane. Godly Noob showing in top lane here. They dismount as well. Looks like Heavy Greg isn't going to pull the trigger here. Not quick enough by any stretch. And so that stall pulls them off of this top bruiser camp. Hotstads could choose to get a little frisky here and invade. They are instead just going to play the more straightforward, safer game. Look for their level 16s where they can. Of course, all of the experience is on the complete other side of the battleground. With 3 heroes showing in bot lane, Godly Noob feels totally safe to step up and clear this bruiser camp here in top. Chim Chim avoiding the jet propulsion with another timely Wraith Walk. So that's level 16s for the dads. Progden pairing their level 7 heavy impact with Dwarf Launch at 16. Corrosive still, Synthesis still showing in bot lane here. So Hotstads are happy to escort their siege camp just a little bit closer. We see that shield on Godly Noob. That's thanks to their level 16 spell armor talent, Juggernaut Plating. Did we go for the root or the minus armor? Numbing Blast. So we've got the CC from Cue Ball. Ice Barrier at 13 as well, so that paired with Ice Flows at 7 means that they can get a lot of survivability. Randy Newman continues to grant vision as the beacons threaten to unlock. They catch Jaina here in the ley line. There's a lot of damage onto the Johanna. Godly Noob drops the bunker. Wailing Arrow finds Randy Newman, and there's the hop in. Randy Newman on the bot side goes in. Randy Newman on the top side goes down. Corrosive falling low. There's the slow from Krogden. Godly Noob gets the takedown on to Synthesis, and Chim Chim is the last one standing. So Hotstads looking to take the Leoric down once more, and they'll focus their attentions here onto the core. A 15-minute Braxis game. Hotstads looking very strong with their 2-3 lane setup. So they'll take it in game 1. GG and well played to the red team. And it's not too surprising to see them comfortable or perform well on Braxis when they are the ones who chose the battleground. It is perhaps the least popular, one of the least popular, certainly, battlegrounds here in the Nexus Gaming series. Stats? Are you there? Hey, there we go. And so if you aren't accustomed to playing it, then getting a 2-3 laning setup can really throw things off. The takedowns kind of tells the whole story there. 14-2 in favor of Hotstads. Kakarot with top damage, likely thanks to... Nope, don't do that. All the damage they were able to pour into the Leoric there in the early game as we show off our builds here. So yeah, Hotstads, they took the lead with their non-standard laning arrangement and never let off the throttle. We'll see how Heavy Greg want to adjust for game 2 and how they'll try and set up for making it a 3-game series. For everyone who tuned in midway through game 1, welcome. Happy to have you. We are in Division B East this evening, seeing Heavy Greg take on Hotstads. The 5th and 3rd place teams, respectively. So Heavy Greg are fighting above their weight class a bit. They will be unable to secure a domination. So, I mean, we always knew, given the point standings, that they were still going to be behind Hotstads at the end of this match, but they are no longer going to be within a point The Dahaka Falstad bans definitely were a great way for Heavy Greg to start the draft for game one, but the early Medivh pick kind of hampers the damage and wave clear that the draft can have. Johanna also isn't necessarily the strongest tank for Braxis because she lacks a consistent strong engage before Blessed Shield comes online at level 10. So Heavy Greg just had a little bit of a weaker early game, and Hotstats capitalized just tremendously. Hotstats, of course, not only do they have the past 4 seasons together, they also have a little bit of prior synergy before Hotstats was formed. A handful of the members playing together on Almost Legends Ruby from back in the day. And it looks like we have our next battleground selected for Game 2. Heavy Greg are taking us to Infernal Shrines. So, not necessarily enjoying what first pick did for him, trying to take the dads to a battleground of their choosing. I like that approach. Switching things up makes a lot of sense in my mind after a somewhat one-sided game one. If only because it gives you a change of pace, and that can reset the tempo, reset the morale. I think Heavy Greg's draft from game one is a little bit better suited for Infernal Shrines. We'll see if they stick with the Dahaka and Falstad bans here for game 2. I wouldn't expect Hot's dads to adjust their bans. Sergeant Hammer, not as strong on this battleground, of course, but when played well, Sergeant Hammer works on most battlegrounds, so because Heavy Greg have shown a willingness to pick the siege tank, I would expect to see that ban remain the same. I'll say Randy Newman on the Stukov seemed to have a lot of trouble in game 1 getting away from Muradin. I know that Hotstats have favored the Dwarf many a time in the season. Krogden looking very comfortable on the pick and loves Haymaker. It wasn't just a tech pick to deal with the Medivh portals. That is just the way that Hotstats plays the Muradin. Plays are made, as is hay. I thought Cue Ball on the Jaina also looked very strong. I'd expect more of a preference for a Kale Thos pick, perhaps a Mephisto pick, if it goes unbanned, which is what we saw Heavy Greg do for game number 1. But if Heavy Greg are able to put a little bit more pressure on the front line of Hotstats, I think it'll be a little bit easier for Synthesis and the other Randy Newman to feel less pressured. Hotstats just we're able to put a lot of pressure on the Leoric and Johanna, depending. Throw Muradin jumping deep into the backline on top, and it makes for a hectic team fight. Godly Noob, of course, hitting some really big jet propulsions in those full 5v5 engagements. So, continuing to shine as Hotstad's standout player. Looks like we are just waiting on one of our team members, but we should be off to the races here shortly for Game 2. Excellent. So let's head over to the draft and see where we're headed. Last time we saw the Lucio and Hammer bans. We'll see if Hotstads keep it the same or change up their approach now that they are in the first pick position. There's the Malthael ban. As mentioned, a bit of a special pick for Chim Chim. The Haka taken away once again. They don't want Godly Noob on the Apex Predator. We saw a Lucio ban last time. I think of Shrines as a little bit better of a battleground for Lucio, and a little bit worse for Sergeant Hammer. So if we're keeping any of our bans from Game 1, I'd expect it to be the Lucio. Looks like Hot's dads agree. And there's the false dad again. With the level of success that the dads have been getting out of those two heroes, I think that is the correct way to start the draft. Oriole picked up once again for user error. Oriole still in a very strong balance position after the most recent patch. You can use !patch in chat to see those recent changes that happened within the past month or so.
Here we go again.
Another Chromie for synthesis. I think that makes a lot of sense with the vision control that she can set up around the objectives, and Johanna as well. So a little bit better battleground for the Joe as well. We'll see how Hotstads want to round out their first half of the draft. I'd expect the Muradin pick up again, as well as Blaze. It's going to be Tychus instead. And Urel. Well, there you go. I don't know anything about anything. Godly Noob, very competent Urel player. So I'd expect to see the Space Goat jumping into the back line onto the Chromie as much as possible. We'll see how Heavy Greg want to address this. Yeah, they'll ban the Muradin. That makes a lot of sense. Progden showing a lot of success and prowess on that hero thus far in the season. Next ban for Hot's Dads, I'd expect another offlane ban here, perhaps the Leoric. Gonna be Tyrande instead. Alright. Too many vision tools would be OP. And so Sentinel is no longer on the table. They could use a little bit more Shrine Clear. They could use that auto attack damage that we talked about for Game 1. Malfurion for Randy Newman. And Gazlo. Okay. So, a triple frontline composition, most likely. Oh, perhaps not. I'm seeing that Chim Chim is not in the lobby this time around, so... Last two picks here for Hotstads. They could use a little bit more on the front line, and they've got one more flex pick here. They'll stick with the Kael'thas and pair it with a Nubarek. So, really solid CC available to Hotstads. And they're sticking to their guns with the Medivh. on the side of Heavy Greg. So let's see. Take a look at these two drafts here once again as our teams load in to Infernal Shrines. I strongly prefer Hotstad's draft to Heavy Greg's. Heavy Greg have a lot of vision tools at their disposal. They've got Gazlo turrets, they've got Medivh, they've got Chromie time traps. So Hotstads might have a hard time finding a sneaky engagement, but I don't think they need to. I think they can fight these engagements front to back and perform just fine. Of course, it's not all about what I think about the drafts. It's about how the drafts get played. So let's see how it all shakes out here in Game 2. Heavy Greg looking to take us to a Game 3 if possible. We've got Randy Newman on Malfurion, Synthesis on Chromie, Randy Newman on Medivh, Corrosive on Johanna, and Composite Sinatra on Gazlo. And looking to close it out 2-0, we've got Hotstads, Kakarot on Tychus, Godly Noob playing Yrel, Krogdun on Anubarak, Q-Ball on Kael'thas, and User Error once again on Oriel. Level 1 talents, we've got Time Walker's Pursuit again. Quarterback for Kakarot on the Tychus. Composite knocked in here. They'll receive the Force of Will shielding and escape with the portal. Krogdun caught in the root there, and Godly Noob just jumping on the Heavy Greg backline with impunity here. First wave goes in favor of Heavy Greg, and they use the Medivh portal for the rotation expertly. It's an excellent move. A lot of damage onto Kakarot there. They'll be able to scoot out with their dash. Corrosive and Randy Newman playing for this bottom wave. Checking in on top side, Composite and Godly Noob have been trading aggressively with one another. So I'll have to keep my eye out to see if either of them are likely to get a 1v1 takedown. Q-Ball walking right through Johanna there. Of course, Corrosive once again does not have much lockdown yet, so Kael'thas able to skate out without too much trouble. On the top side, Godly Noob and Composite once again trading out a bit. Camps even in the mid lane. Both teams neck and neck towards their level 4 talents. Chromie, of course, already has unlocked her next talent thanks to her trait. And it looks like Hotstads are able to sneak Godly Noob into mid lane a little bit more frequently than Composite has been coming down for Heavy Greg. Godly Noob escorted the siege camp into the wall a little bit here. We've got level 4s on both sides now for all team members. Looks like Heavy Greg will look for the bottom camp. They've got decent point control with Chromie and Malfurion. Corrosive still has the Iron Skin available, but doesn't use it preemptively. User Error with an excellent whip. The stun from Composite, however. Godly Noob low here on the side. And there's the first shrine announced. Hotstad's in a little bit of an advantageous position with this siege camp in their favor. There's the Force of Will protection onto Corrosive. Godly Noob quite low on health and mana, and they proc the shrine. Both teams even towards their level 7s. It's a lot of damage onto Krogdun there. Sinatra falling low as well. Hotstads have a pretty sizable lead on this first objective. 15 Shrine Defenders to a mere 7 for Heavy Greg. So Greg's going to have to look for a takedown here shortly. They'll portal back towards Kakarot, but no one takes it. Godly Noob continues the disruption here, and they find Synthesis, a great stun from user error, and they're chasing the Chromie down. Krogden will fall due to the chase. Godly Noob boops away the rest of Heavy Greg there. 32 Shrine Defenders, make it 35 for the Dads. They're going to finish off this objective. They'd love to get one more takedown onto Godly Noob. An auto attack from Joe won't be enough, but the Moonfire from Malfurion will. So Arcane Punisher going over to Hotstads. First 2 takedowns of the game in favor of Heavy Greg. They'll jump John Cena over the wall successfully, allowing their fort to be a part of this defense as well. Always better to have 3 structures shooting a Punisher rather than just 2. Have anything out of the ordinary at level 7. Nothing too surprising. Righteous Momentum at level 7 for Yrel. Silly Hammer runs fast. Burned Flesh for Cue Ball on the Kael'th boss. So a little bit of percentage damage available. Level 8 means that Synthesis has their heroic available already. They've opted for Slowing Sands. I think that makes a lot of sense given user errors. Oriel. Hotstads get a cheeky look here on the top side, drawing Heavy Greg up, which gives Kakarot all the room they'd like to keep the push going here in bot lane. And Hotstads do a great job interrupting rotations. Randy Newman through the portal of Randy Newman. Corrosive sidestepping that gravity lapse. It's 5 heroes committed to bot lane for Hotstads. We'll see how much Composite is able to get done. They've lost sight of Hotstads, so they're going to play it safe and back up there. That Bruiser Camp might not get all that much done. Heavy Greg playing for the bottom siege camp here. So the gate goes down in top. That's where our next Punisher is spawning. It's going to be a Frozen Punisher. So a very important one to play for, given its siege potential. Got Heroics online for Heavy Greg. Slayline Seal, Blessed Shield, Gravo Bomb. And Randy Newman still waiting. We may see a Twilight Dream. We've got 10s for Hotstads as well. Cocoon, Ardent Defender, Commandeer Odin, Phoenix, and Crystal Aegis. Godly Noob has made this rotation out of vision. They'll start running in with their Silly Hammer. They're looking for a knock. They land it there onto the Johanna. Leyline Seal out, finds Kakarot on the Tychus. Godly Noob in deep here, looking for another knock if they can get it. They land it onto the Medivh. There's a great gravity lapse as well, but user error falls low. They're going to have to self-Aegis, and it looks like they might make it out alive. Synthesis falling low. They're able to escape with some excellent portal jumping. Godly Noob still has their heroic available. They'll pop it here. Caught in the Sleep Root. Emerald Dream will lock Godly Noob down here. Corrosive continues to chase Yrel on the top side, while we've got the 3 heroes committed here on bot. Corrosive will get the takedown onto Godly Noob. So 3 takedowns unanswered for Heavy Greg. A lot of heroics committed, every single one, in fact. So I don't know how aggressive Hotstads will be in playing for the top shrine. We've got Synthesis and Randy Newman making their way up now. Looks like we've got a 3-hero commitment to the bot fort for the Dads. Gravo Bomb zones effectively. Repeated offense completed for user error. Johanna pops the Iron Skin. They'll get out alive and just fine. A little bit of Living Bomb spread there. Checking in on top side, Godly Noob probably going to start harassing. I would love to see Synthesis and Randy Newman try and hit the Urel a bit, but alas. People are scared of Urel. And Hot Stads make the last rotation in. Synthesis, there's a protection. The Blessed Shield finds a couple. Johanna caught in the cocoon. We've got Scarlet Aegis back off cooldown. Godly Noob jumping in and zoning once again. Composite makes the rotation in, and Hot Stads are quickly catching up on the Shrine. They've also got a camp in their favor in mid lane, so mid fort under threat. Cue Ball caught in the slowing sands. That's a lot of damage, but the Crystal Aegis comes out. Godly Noob knocks a couple away, but the Kael'thas still falls. Johanna on the bot side will escape with their life. Godly Noob trying to chase down Synthesis and Medivh. They've got a portal, and so they'll get out. They find the Burrow Charge onto Synthesis once more, but Krogdun eats a lot of Dragon's Breath for their trouble. 25 all on the Shrine. Godly Noob jumping in. Composite trying to get these body blocks on Urel. A couple more auto attacks might just do it. Krogdun falling low here. Composite able to cover for the team with those turrets. And so Heavy Greg zone Hot Stads off the objective successfully, and they'll secure this Frozen Punisher. They lost a bit of structure health in mid on their fort thanks to the siege camp, but this Frozen Punisher will likely get a lot of pushing done. Unfortunately, Randy Newman on Medivh doesn't bring a lot of structure damage. And so Hot Stads are actually getting a lot of defense done here. There's the root. Lots of damage onto Kael'thas. They'll pop the Crystal Aegis. Leyline Seal comes out as well. Corrosive falling very low. Top fort will go down. Randy Newman pops the Tranquility. Oh my gosh, another root. Oh, John Cena takes the Kael'thas down. Midwave crashing into the fort there, and Heavy Greg are going to get aggressive with this Bruiser Camp invade. Godly Noob just waits it out. Seeing if Heavy Greg make the rotation through, they're pretty confident that they know where Heavy Greg are, so they'll run in. They get those jump resets thanks to their level 7. They'll pop the Ardent Defender here. Hot Stads secure their Bruiser Camp. I'm sorry. Their level 7 is the Funny Hammer runs fast. They're just... I'm unaccustomed to playing with Righteous Momentum on Urel. I'm boring and go Divine Steed every time. Alright. So, Cue Ball finishes off their level 1 Mana Addict. They've got extra protection for themselves with Arcane Barrier available now. Piercing Lash online for user error, as we've got level 16s available for Heavy Greg. Next Shrine is in bot lane. I'd love to see Heavy Greg get aggressive here with their talent tier advantage. Instead, they're playing it a little safe. Randy Newman scouts Hot Stads on the bot camp. Randy Newman's picked up Temporal Flux at 16, so I'd expect them to be a little bit more cavalier with their lane line seal usage moving forward, as they get a lot of cooldown reduction from their level 16 talent. In top lane, the Bruiser Camp won. I'm pretty sure... Oh, okay, that was a... I thought for a second there that Corrosive had managed... Oh, a lot of damage onto Heavy Greg. 2 heroes standing in the Flame Strike means that they proc the level 7 Burned Flesh. Bruiser Camp 1 in top, so this is a potential 5v4 in bot lane. We see Composite making that rotation now. Blessed Shield is available. Heavy Greg continue to play it safe. Leyline thrown, catches one. Bravo unable to connect. So a couple big heroics use. The Odin dissuades any further siege from Heavy Greg. So the Hotstad's in a decent position here for this next objective phase. It'll be a Mortar Punisher for bot lane. And neither side have gates, so a Punisher jump could be devastating. Godly Noob running in on the top side here. They get stunned out. They have to pop the Ardent Defender. Krogden uses the Burrow Charge to connect onto the backline there. Godly Noob falling low. No one takes the portal in time. Corrosive and Synthesis still focused on the shrine here. Hotstads have 22 already in their favor, with Heavy Greg only securing 6 thus far. Yrel has already used their Ardent Defender. They've tapped well, so they're going to get healthy again. Corrosive falling low here. They draw the Force of Will protection. 16 to 26, 22 now. And it's close. Leyline Seal catches one. Cue Ball falling very low in the backside. Synthesis likely in a lot of trouble, but Godly Noob knocks them away. Oh my gosh, so much damage onto Synthesis. They're able to save themselves with the timeout and the... Oh my god, but Hotstads pick up the objective in the meantime. A lot of damage here onto Cue Ball. There's the Leyline Seal. Punisher jump catches 2. Godly Noob trying to chase down Rainy Newman on the Medivh. Godly Noob will fall. Composite on Gazlowe already split off to mid lane. Randy Newman eats the double stun from Krogden. And Corrosive has already used the Iron Skin, so these body blocks could be the death of Johanna. Looks like they're going to get it into the gate and make it here. Heavy Greg a little bit closer towards their Storm Talents. Krogden following up the Punisher stun with their combo as well. And on the top side, Composite's going core. It's still 20 seconds until Yrel spawns. So looks like Hotstads and Heavy Greg are going to trade keeps here. Bot keep for top keep. Composite likely going to get through that before Hotstads can deal with them. Leyline Seal catches Krogden. Yeah, this is a massive wave and double catapult. So a great play from Heavy Greg to trade out keeps after losing that objective. They've now got a Storm Talent tier advantage. We'll see if they go hunting for the dads. What do we have at level 20? Piercing Sands for Chromie. Medivh cheats, of course. Radiating Faith for Johanna, so extra duration on the Blessed Shield stun. Bomb Toss for Gazlowe. And Life Bloom for Malfurion. So Corrosive going to flex their muscles a little bit here. Start taking away the siege camp. Godly Noob just playing as risky as they like on the Yrel. There is the siege camp in bot lane with constant catapult pressure alongside it. Someone from Heavy Greg will have to deal with that eventually. And looks like that's going to keep them from playing as proactively as they probably would like to. Storm Talent tier has evened out. Godly Noob dropping the generic spray there. Generic name and generic spray. Pretty weird. What do we have? We've got Big Red Button, Seraphim, Traitor King, Flamethrower, and Shield of Hope for Hotstads. Next objective is in mid lane. And with Heavy Greg showing heavily in top lane, Hotstads will get as much siege on this mid fort as they can. Only down to about a quarter HP. Corrosive takes the portal. There's the Blessed Shield onto one. Randy Newman getting chased off there. Cue Ball falling very low. They will be the first to fall. Godly Noob trying to throw a Monkey Wrench into the backline there. They'll pop Seraphim. They're still relatively healthy considering that they've got their 20 available. So Yrel will back off and Hearth back home. Shrine's available. So how many catapults is that on bot? It's 2 catapults in bot lane. So Composite will Hearth back. Shrine spawning here in the next 7 seconds. Leyline looks for Kakarot. Finds user error on the bot side. Progden didn't opt for rewind. So much damage onto the Oriel, but thanks to their level 16, they've got healing to spare. So much damage going on to Randy Newman here. There's the Blessed Shield once again. Godly Noob and Progden the targets here. Leyline Seal thrown towards the back line. They catch the Tychus. Cue Ball has respawned. The objective has started. But no one has killed any of the Shrine just yet. Will be the first 5 going in favor of Hotstads. Godly Noob scouted with Time Walker's Pursuit. They catch Kakarot there with the root as well. User error gets the Diamond Resolve. Oh my gosh, Randy Newman caught on the backside. But it's all of the damage from the Kael Thas. 3 takedowns going in favor of Hotstads. Looks like they're not concerned about the objective. They'll walk through mid-fort and try and end the game here with those 3 takedowns. Progden pushes Randy Newman off with a quick little impale. Godly Noob had to Hearth back to deal with the catapults. Big Red Button expires here shortly, and none of the damage that Heavy Greg has at their disposal is all that threatening. Of course, Randy Newman can stall Hotstads a fair bit with Leyline Seal. The respawns are 10 seconds away, and I don't think it's going to be in time. 2 catapults are connected on the core now, and so Hotstads will take it 2-0. Another domination for the Fathers of the Nexus. GG. Map pick or first pick doesn't seem to matter much to the dads. They looked very comfortable there in Game 2 as well on Infernal Shrines. Let's see what our post-game stats look like. Synthesis, top of the lobby, but of course it wasn't enough. The takedowns go in favor of Heavy Greg as well, but Hotstads got him when they counted. We can take a look at our builds once again as well. Corrosive seems to really like Shrinking Vacuum at 16, which is surprising to me. Especially with Zealous Glare at 1, Holy Renewal is the most common level 16 talent we see from Johanna. Anything else of note? Nothing out of the ordinary. And the damage from Cue Ball and the disruption from Godly Noob ended up being the major difference maker there for that late game team fight scenario. We can head over to our post-game wrap up. Unfortunately, Randy Newman's Medivh didn't seem to get it done in either games 1 or 2. Heavy Greg have shown a willingness to play non-standard picks with the Sergeant Hammer and Medivh picks, but it didn't end up going in their favor for this series. Let me see if I can't find some friends for an interview here. Hopefully they will be joining us shortly. We'll see if they end up joining us. User here, GG's. Thanks for the great games, user. Very well played to you and your team. It looks like we will be joined here. GG, well played. How are you feeling after the domination?
Oh, it is feeling pretty good. I was going to say, I thought I had a friend joining me. So Q-Ball's here as well. No, it was a really fun game. Definitely that second one was super back and forth, super challenging, a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely, yeah, GG's to Greg's, and yeah, it was a good time.
Awesome. Game 1, Braxis Holdout. Let's talk a little bit about everyone's favorite StarCraft map. This is not the most common across the league. Does that factor into your enjoying taking teams to it, kind of catching folks off guard? Does that factor in at all, or was this a scouting-specific choice that you saw in the Heavy Greg?
We actually used to ban it. We actually used to hate this map like a season or two ago. We'd never played it. And then we just decided once we won a Storm League, and we're like, we'll just start playing it. And that's just how that came to fruition. I think we won like one game one season. We're like, this maybe might not be bad. And then we just now take it. Just when Storm League started it all.
Fair enough. And we saw the 2-3 lane split. Was that a response to the Medivh, or was that always the plan when you picked up the Sylvanas?
Would you be sad if I told you can neither confirm nor deny whether it's a strategy or not?
That is reasonable, given the question. It makes sense not to snitch on oneself. Fair enough. The Jaina in bot lane handled all the wave clear needs that you had, of course. Curious, Q-Ball, was it tough to find opportunities to put damage on Heavy Greg's 3 heroes with Blizzard kind of required for wave? Was it tough following up Krogdun's engages down there? Or was it basically just smooth sailing, make sure that we don't lose our fort and let top win?
I won't say it was smooth sailing, but and this isn't even strategy, this is just my opinion on Joe. Once her W's down, she has no CC, so it's kind of like, alright, well, she's just a wall, let's ignore her. So, I mean, we just walk past them. I personally don't like Joe. Same thing as Stitches, it's like, well, once their cooldown's down, it's like, what are they going to do? So...
Absolutely, and she's also, like, she doesn't have any lockdown pre-10. She's strong, don't get me wrong, but maybe not a Braxis pick.
Yeah, there was no peel in that 3-man, so I didn't... If you take away like just hero choice, not like their player skill or anything, it was just, yeah, lack of peel. So I think we just found it easier compared to another combination they could have used.
Totally. Game 2, Infernal Shrine's a lot closer. The takedowns actually ended up going in favor of Heavy Greg. What were comms like after the first couple of team fight losses? I mean, it wasn't categorical losing, right? Like, you guys would lose heroes but win an objective. How do you guys navigate those sort of tough to understand who's winning games? Does that affect morale at all?
There's definitely, I mean, of course, when you look at the scoreboard and you see it's 4-0, or I guess 0-4, and they've got more takedowns than you, like, man, what are we doing? And then you realize it's the Medivh, right? The Medivh is there as the ultimate babysitter, the portal out, the nice warm blanket to keep you safe, and just say, man, it's just hard to get through, everything. So I think we kind of knew that was the fight we were going to take, and so it just became picking our fights a little bit better, trying to catch a 4v5 or a 4v3, where we could, and then like you said, if we needed to let a URL die so that we could win an objective and then get bottom keep, obviously that had opened it up. Once we got those kills at the end, we could say, okay, let's go finish it. And so I think we had a little frustration, and then you got to stay as calm as you can though, and figure out, it's like any other game, like how do I win here? How do I lose here? And just try to figure that out in the moment. So.
And it looked like you guys had the decision making all tied up, getting a lot of priority on those objectives to kind of mitigate any potential hero losses. The push was pretty even on both sides, and then late game, the Oriole scaling, the Kael'thas scaling, the Yrel unstoppable, it became a lot easier, perhaps, to manage those later game team fights, even with Bomb Toss Gazlo making things all sorts of funky.
I think I heard User roll his keyboard like a piano a few times, just trying to keep everybody alive.
Yeah, I think I forgot about the interview because I was so excited to go try to look at that last fight and just see what happened, because I was singularly focused on the Tychus who got rooted and grab bombed and ley lined and whatever, and then he was stasis again because I threw an Aegis on him, and then I hit my 20 shield talent, and at the end of it he's like, oh, I can Odin. I was like, dude, I don't know how you're alive.
Yeah, Kakarot looked so dead so many times.
Yeah, it was just total. He's like, I didn't move for 10 seconds. I was like, I know, because I watched, but then Godly is, as always, whether he's on, Yrel, the Haka Blaze, whatever, is, off screen in the back line causing problems. I was like, I don't know where you are. I'm not going to heal you. I just you gotta focus on my babies, my DPS here in the back, and make sure that they're doing okay. So obviously it worked out. But I think that realization to say, like, oh shoot, we get the bottom, go, because I think it takes a while before you have that instinct to say, do we just get the objective and just run down mid where they have a fort still, or do we just rush to that bot lane as fast as we can and try to end it without don't give them another chance. And so that's what we did, and glad it worked out for us.
It was an excellent call and an excellent way to close out a domination. We're in week 10, so we've got two more matches. So you guys sitting pretty for the playoffs. How are you feeling about your chances here in the postseason?
The chances in the postseason, iffy, 50-50, we'll say, but chances of Samoro about to show up, 110%.
Though I think you're a great guy, I think that's also a lie.
I would never.
Never ever.
Well, then...
Is it a Probius? Is it a Samoro? Is it a Deathwing? Who knows?
I mean, I know that you guys have never played any of those 3 heroes yet this season or last season. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Any shoutouts you want to give? The floor is yours.
Appreciate you streaming. Always the first thing. Thanks for picking it up. Although, I think you're getting some intel for the playoffs was the true purpose, speaking of trustworthiness. But we appreciate your stream.
We already played against you guys.
Yeah, but we'll see you on the playoffs.
Right, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, appreciate that. The team, GG's the Hot Stats, GG's to Heavy Greg, and good luck to our other team, the Tuas.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for the interview, gentlemen. Have a great night.
You too, Sam.
You
See ya.
too. Bye.
So there you have it, a 2-0 for the dads, the fathers of NGS. And they look comfortable, they sound comfortable, headed into the late game, headed into the postseason. Heavy Greg, have few more questions to answer, it looks like, as we look towards our last couple weeks of the season. That'll do it for us here on the stream. Before I sign off, give some shout-outs of my own. First and foremost, to all you who tuned in, thank you for joining us. It's always great to see folks cheering for both of our teams and supporting the league. I'll also shout out all of the volunteer staff that make the league run. NGS is a great organization, and it's run completely for free thanks to all of their hard work. So thank you, volunteers. Last but not least, a big shout out to all of the artists, programmers, and musicians whose work I feature here on the stream. It wouldn't look or sound anywhere near as good without their contributions. You can find links to all of their work below the video or coming up in a credit roll here. So please do go check them out. It's all Creative Commons licensed or open source material. So it could be in your next project as well. Until next time, friends, good luck and have fun out there. Peace and love.
Yeah.